Leah,
Yes.
our grammarian and account are not here and our table topics master.
Hopefully they'll join in a minute.
Even some of our evaluators.
Oh, we should be Hasina and Palesa.
Yeah.
I think, oh yeah, speaker 2 says they are stuck somewhere. So I've just told Dumelo.
Okay.
All right, it's 6 o'clock. Uh, Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Gaborone Toastmasters Club meeting for the 27th of May 2025. So just before we get started, I just want to go through some Zoom etiquette. So I'm just going to share a slide with you all as I go through that. So we always say, if you are not speaking, if you would kindly ensure that you mute yourself. And as always, remind our role players to kindly rename yourself according to the role. So if you're a speaker or evaluator, you would kindly put that against your name. And then if you're a visitor, like if you're visiting Toastmaster, you just put VTM. If you're a guest, you just put guest in front of your name. And as always, we say Zoom is filled with lots of icons. Yes? I'm sure they'll be joining in a few minutes. Sorry, I got distracted there. I let me just reshare the slide. Sorry. Oh gosh. Okay. And our chat will be open for you to use, cheer on our speakers, make comments, and we always say our Toastmasters value of respect, integrity, and excellence. And then I would just like to read our club mission. We provide a supportive and positive learning experience in which members are empowered to develop communication and leadership skills, resulting in greater self-confidence and personal growth. And our meeting is normally recorded and we also live stream to our YouTube channel. So I'd just like to read the following. By attending this remote Zoom meeting, you agree to the privacy policy of Toastmasters International, as well as the unassociated remoting hosting service. Some of your personal information, such as name, image, and any shared message will be recorded. Your remote attendance hereby discharges Toastmasters International from all claims, demands, rights, promises, damages, and liabilities arising out of or in connection with the use or distribution of said video recording, including but not limited to any claims for invasion of privacy, appropriation of likeness, or defamation. With that being said, I would like to officially call this meeting to order, and I would like to invite our club president, Dumelo Mapalala, to give the welcome remarks.
Thank you, Madam SAA. Good evening, fellow Gaborone Toastmasters, visiting Toastmasters, and guests. Tonight, we gather under a theme that is both exciting and deeply personal: the art of reinvention. Reinvention isn't just change, it's intentional transformation. It's the moment we look at where we are and dare to imagine where we could be. It's when we ask, what can I become if I let go of the old and embrace the new? At Toastmasters, every meeting gives us a space to reinvent as speakers, as leaders, and even just as individuals. We try, we stumble, we improve, and each time we craft a better version of ourselves. So tonight, let's celebrate reinvention, either big or small, and embrace the art of becoming more. As is usually the case, we have our program director for the day, being our Toastmaster of the day. Our Toastmaster tonight is no stranger to this virtual platform. She's usually the first face or even name you hear as you join Gaborone Toastmasters as both our Vice President of Membership and Vice President of Education who onboards you onto this journey. She's a self-proclaimed Toastmasters enthusiast, and we can agree. Leah has served as many roles on the Toastmasters platform, both at club level and going as far as division and district level. She's the incoming division's she was the previous logistics manager, but is the incoming division's public relations manager. Ladies and gentlemen, please help me welcome onto the stage Toastmaster Leah Msunga.
You mean Lami?
We changed the program. Sorry, I didn't see that. Oh, my apologies. Toastmasters. Our Toastmaster of the evening is Lamim Teta. Lamim Teta is currently serving as our Vice President of Public Relations. My apologies, I'm a bit ill prepared. But Lami is also one of our long-standing Toastmasters here at Gaborone Toastmasters. And from her, we can gain a wealth of knowledge from her leadership style and presentation style. And tonight, she will be leading our program. Ladies and gentlemen, please help me welcome Toastmaster Lamim Tetra.
Thank you, Toastmaster Dumelo Mapalala. Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and guests. Let me also take this opportunity to welcome you to yet another Gaborone Toastmaster Club meeting. My name is Lamim Tetwa, and it's a privilege and honor to be the Toastmaster of the evening for this meeting. And if you're a guest and you're wondering, what's the Toastmaster of the day? Basically, as the Toastmaster of the day, my role this evening is just to direct the program, or what you normally refer to, the Master of Ceremony, or in our language, Setswana, the person we normally refer to, Motsamaisa Tiro, or the MT. So I will be your MC for this evening, or your MT, or your Director of Ceremony, or your Toastmaster of the day. You are free to regard me with any name that you want. I am excited about today's evening. I'm excited about today's program. And just before we kickstart with our logistics, I'd like to hear from you from the chat box. Tell us where you're joining us from and your expectation. Today, we have a special guest. So I would like to hear from you. What are you expecting from today's meeting? Let me share something with you. With every Toastmasters meeting, you will never leave the same person you entered this meeting as. Toastmaster is known of changing lives. It's known of making you take a 360 turn in your personal development journey. So I'd like to hear from you from the chat box. What are you expecting to get from this meeting? What are you looking forward to? What part of the program are you looking forward to? And just for also for the benefit of our guests, our program is divided into 3 parts. We have what we call the prepared speaking part. Then we'll later have the table topic section. Then we'll later have the evaluation section. But don't worry, we have role players here who will explain to us what all this section entails. And in Toastmasters, we believe in collaboration. This evening, I'm not the only one who will be the sailor of this boat, or I'm not only the only one facilitating this meeting. I have a group of excited people in the background who I will call to the virtual stage, who they will introduce themselves, introduce their roles. And I would also like to challenge them to share with you why they decided to take up that particular role for this meeting. Starting with our Hackmaster, Toastmaster Matshidiso. Toastmaster Matshidiso, please introduce yourself, introduce your role, and tell us why you decided to take this particular role for this meeting.
Okay, thank you, Toastmaster of the day. Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and guests. The Hackmaster role in a Toastmasters meeting is all about active listening. So I will be challenging you and myself to actively listen to the participants as they present their speeches. And I will be asking questions at the end of the session. Thank you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Matshidiso. So we have our listening police officer this evening. She will later come back to the virtual stage to check if we're really paying attention, we're listening to all our speakers, we're listening to the Toastmaster of the day, we're listening to everything that went on into this meeting. Next on, I'll be calling our table topics master, Toastmaster Tato. Toastmaster Tato, the virtual floor is yours.
Madam Toastmaster of the day, fellow Toastmasters and guests, good evening. What is Table Topics? Table Topics is a segment of the meeting where we practice speaking off the cuff. No preparation, no notes, just you and your thoughts. During this segment, be ready for spontaneous fun, especially if you don't have a specific role today. You might be selected randomly to share your insights on a topic with just a moment's notice. So get ready to embrace the unexpected. It's all about practicing or building on your speaking skills, having a good time, and enjoying the thrill of impromptu speaking. I'm convinced we'll have some fun later. Back to you, Toastmaster of the day.
Wow, did Toastmaster Tato just say impromptu speaking? I'm really looking forward to that section. I believe we have found ourselves in so many instances where we're requested to speak impromptu and we had no idea where to start or what to say. So later, Toastmaster Tato will provide us with an opportunity to practice that muscle. I believe just as I'm looking forward to that section, you are also looking forward to that section. I'll be calling onto the virtual stage our timer, Toastmaster Kitso. Toastmaster Kitso, the floor is yours.
Greetings to you all, Toastmasters. My name is Kitso Mabulukani. I am a Toastmaster at Eloquent Speakers, but currently I'm unable to attend physically. That's why I chose to visit Gaborone Toastmasters today. And the role that I play today is a timer. For timer, each speech or speaker is allotted a certain time period to speak. So I'll be taking note and notifying the speaker about their timer. Please pay attention to the green, red, yellow that will appear on your screens. So it will show the speakers how far they are with their speeches. And I will also note down their time per speech. Then after that, I will share to how each one of us fared. This also includes the table topics. Looking forward to serving you tonight. Thank you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Kitso. Indeed, you are looking forward to serving. That's another amazing thing about Toastmasters. In Toastmasters, we get to learn by experimenting or experiencing experiencing the training. And through that, we do that by serving, just like what our role players are doing today. They are serving us, and at the same time, they are getting equipped, they're getting empowered in their personal, or they're getting to build that communication or that public speaking muscle. Let's keep those chats coming. I would like to hear from you. Where are you joining from? What are you looking forward to from this meeting? Moving right along with our role players, I'll be inviting to the virtual stage our grammarian.
Good evening. Our grammarian is running a little bit behind, so I will just introduce the role. Hopefully, the grammarian will join the meeting soon. So the role of the grammarian is to monitor the English language. Is to monitor the English language and also to share the word of the day. So the grammarian is technically the language police. So seeing the use of the English language in the meeting. And the word of the day for our meeting today, because we always say in Toastmasters, it's always good to learn new words. And our word of the day is leverage. So let me just share with you what the word of the day is all about. So this is the word that we want to encourage all the speakers who come to the virtual stage to use. So it basically means use something to a maximum advantage. And an example of using this in a sentence is saying the organization needs to leverage its key resources. So I want to encourage all the speakers who come to the virtual stage, whether it's the prepared speakers or the table topics, please use the word of the day. Thank you, and back to you, Madam Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you, Toastmaster Leah, for stepping in to assist with our grammarian. On that note, I would like to ask, who is going to leverage today's meeting? Just by show of hands, I'm one of those. Those that are going to leverage today's meeting. Okay, I can see those hands. Indeed, we are going to leverage this meeting by taking part, by participating. Remember, we're going to have a Q&A session later, so be ready for that section. Toastmaster Leah, it looks like our R and AM counter are not yet in the meeting. Are you willing to just explain that role?
The person is here now. She just joined.
Okay, there we have, our R and AM counter is there, Toastmaster Kagalelo. Toastmaster Kagalelo, are you ready to explain your role?
Yes, I'm ready.
The floor is yours.
Toastmaster of the day and my fellow Toastmasters, good evening. My role tonight as the R counter is to note words and sounds that are used as a crunch or a pause filler. During the meeting, I'll be looking for repeated words, overused words rather, like well, so, like, and but. And then I'll be noting down the use of words such as which are used as a pause filler. Lastly, I'll be looking for repeated words and phrases. For example, you know, this, and this. I will return at the end of the speeches to give a report. Thank you very much, and back to you, Lan.
Thank you, Toastmaster Kagalelo. And still for the benefit of our guests, you might be wondering, asking yourself, why do we need to have an R and AM counter in our meeting? Why do we have to have someone taking up notes of who is using R's, mms, as? I don't know about you. Have you ever attended a speaking session and 95% of the speech was full of R's, mms, as? I want to believe that you ended up not hearing what the message was all about. So Toastmasters, as speakers here, were given that opportunity to pay attention to those unnecessary filler words so that when we speak, when we articulate ourselves, when we give presentations at work or at school, we are able to maintain a very good flow of our speeches without incorporating the as, and a lot of filler words. Thank you, Kahelelo. Last but not least, I'll be inviting to the virtual stage our general evaluator, Toastmaster Leah Musunga.
Thank you so much. So my role as the general evaluator is to basically evaluate the meeting from the beginning up until the end and to make recommendations of how the meeting can be done better as we move along. Thank you. And I'll also be the one chairing the evaluation session when called upon by the Toastmaster of the day. Thank you. Back to you, Lami.
Thank you, Toastmaster Leah Musunga. She will be the one facilitating the third part of this meeting that I shared about the evaluation. In Toastmasters, we thrive by evaluation because we believe evaluations are the breakfast of champions. Now, let me see our chat box. We have Isabella, who is joining us from, let me see where Isabella is joining us from. Oh, my chat has moved a lot. I can see that Timel has been engaging a lot with our, so Isabella is joining us in Gaborone. She's expecting to understand the Toastmasters mandate and if it can well align with her personal goal or improving her public speaking. Then we also have Queen, who's also been a Toastmaster in 2022, and she loves this club. I also love this club, Queen. Then we have, who do we also have? We have Norma, who is joining from Tlokweng. She's also looking forward to seeing what Toastmasters is all about. Thank you very much for those that have shared in the chat box. Like I've said, we have an amazing program packed this evening. Right now, we'll be moving on to the prepared speakers. In Toastmasters, we have different projects that we all embark on that have different objectives in terms of building our public speaking, our communication, and our leadership skills. This evening, we have 4 amazing speakers that have prepared their speeches, and they'll be sharing their speeches with us this evening. Not only are they going to give the speeches, but these speeches are going to get evaluated. Like I said, in Toastmasters, we thrive by evaluation. The importance of evaluation is that we give the speeches, we get feedback from the evaluators, we in turn take this feedback and apply it on our next speech or to better our next speeches. So everything we do in Toastmasters, ladies and gentlemen, it has a purpose. We are not just doing things for the sake of doing things. Now, to introduce our first speaker or the evaluation, I'll be calling onto the stage Palesa Makatu, who will be evaluating Boikhutso. Palesa, are you ready to?
I just got a message from Palesa. She says she's in a noisy place, but she should be home soon. So maybe you can just read the speech objectives for our first speaker.
Okay, let me quickly do that. Let me open my agenda.
Yes. It's an icebreaker.
Our first speaker today, ladies and gentlemen, is Boikhutso Motsasele. Boikhutso Motsasele will be, he is doing her presentation mastery level 1. His very first project in Toastmasters, which is an icebreaker. The objectives of his speech is for him to just basically introduce himself to the club. Excited to hear Boikhutso's speech. His speech title is, "Why Am I at this gathering with this group of people?" Why am I at this gathering with this group of people? Ladies and gentlemen, help me welcome to the virtual stage, Boikhutso Motsasele.
Good evening, everybody. Let me take this moment and introduce myself. I'm a millennial who was born in Kanye and grew up in a mining town called Rane. I'm a devoted Christian and religiously attend church on Saturday. I believe that the fear of God is a healthy part of my life, and at times is the only part of my life that really makes sense to me. I've heard that I may have a multi-personality disorder because I've heard to my family I am that brother or uncle that is a strict perfectionist that never really smiles and is always dishing out that occasional jibe at my siblings and my nephews. And to my friend, I am that party animal, easygoing guy that is always saying things, whatever is on his mind. But I'm really careful that I don't offend people. And at the office, I'm Wakey, the guy who's joking, always having fun, quick to have a joke. But at times, when I'm walking the corridors, I can get lost in my thoughts and I don't play the character. Now, to the lady of my heart, let's just say, I hope I'm always remembered as the loving partner who is always giving without questioning. Now, why the $1 million question is, why am I standing before you as my newfound friends? Isn't it a disadvantage? Isn't it sad that we always spend most of our time firefighting rather than being proactive and solving issues? It's bad, you know, that it's really bad when you start creating excuses for our problems. Like I have had anxiety problems for the longest time. And I've heard myself creating excuses for them. Like, I'm not going to go for that interview because I deserve more. Or I'm not going to speak at that funeral because that guy is his friend more than I am. Why isn't he saying anything? And you know, misery loves company. So there are other mental disorders that are trying to go in and join and stay rent-free in real estate, in prime real estate. Just recently, I had made a presentation at work to other workmates. Sounds easy, doesn't it? But not for me. I was there presenting, my heart was racing, I couldn't even speak. I was choking. It doesn't happen all the time, but when it does, it's really disappointing. And what happens is that I will then shove that memory. And then the next time I'm given the opportunity to present, it's always difficult. So what is the goal? What is my goal? My goal is that I want to leverage of this wonderful club, build strength against the only anxiety that I feel is messing with my mind. And that is public speaking. Not just to speak for the sake of speaking, but to speak with structure and intention. So what I've learned lately is that it all begins with being mindful of everything that I say, of every moment, and recognizing that I'm greater than just this feeling of anxiety. And every day I will always repeat. Today is the day that I free myself from this past. Today is the day that I create new thoughts. Today is the day that my steps create a new reality. Today I become the person that I know I can be, the person that God intended me to be. Thank you for listening to my speech. That was hard.
Thank you, Bikutsa, and I'd like to say welcome to the place of reinvention. Indeed, Toastmasters is a place of reinvention. Moving right along with our program, it appears that our speaker number 2 is not yet in the meeting room, so we'll be moving on to our speaker number 3, who is Asalepele, and I'll be inviting to the virtual stage her evaluator, Toastmaster Hasina Hamdani. Toastmaster Hasina Hamdani, the floor is yours.
Hello, everyone. Am I visible? Am I audible?
You are audible, Toastmaster Hasina.
Okay, and I'm not visible, I think. Okay, good evening, Toastmaster of the day, fellow Toastmasters, distinguished guest, and especially Toastmaster Asalapile Banda. Today, Asalapile Banda is going to present her speech to learn her communication styles, to identify her own style, and to see the impact of her style on others. And I, as her evaluator, I'm going to look for her style, that how she incorporate her own style and it aligns with her speech. I look for her content and delivery also. And by doing that, I'm going to improve my speech, because evaluation is also a short speech. I'm going to sharpen my analytical skills and to give her constructive feedback. At the same time, it's going to improve my listening skills so that I can leverage on my growth on this Toastmaster Club. Thank you. Back to you, Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you, Toastmaster Hasina Hamdani. Ladies and gentlemen, help me welcome to the virtual stage Asalepele Banda. Your purpose in life. Your purpose in life, Asalepele Banda.
That's not actually that's not the title of my speech. I think Leah missed it. It's supposed to be, no, I want it that way, not the purpose of your life. Anyway,
let me say that again. Ladies and gentlemen, help me welcome to the virtual stage Asalepele Banda with No, I Want It That Way. No, I Want It That Way, Asalepele Banda.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster. Have you ever sent a message or talked to somebody thinking your message is very clear, only to get a response that makes you question your existence? Like, what did I say? What just happened? Well, I find myself in situations like this from time to time. It turns out we all have communication languages. It turns out communication is not just speaking. You have to say the right thing to the right person at the right time. A few weeks ago, I was in a meeting at work. A little backstory. So I work in what we call an agri shop. We sell animal vaccines, animal feeds, medicines. We also sell fertilizers, seeds, and crop produce, mainly grain. I'm the technical person. So I'm having a meeting with our finance manager. Me. We need 2 backup generators for our 2 branches. We need to be the leading example in this industry. We need to ensure that people actually get quality products from us, or else we are going to lose our license. How much does it cost? What's the return on investment? Did you do a cost-benefit analysis? Me. Didn't you hear what I just said? This is a regulatory instruction. It's not negotiable. We need to have this. We need to ensure that our products are efficacious from the manufacturer to the clients. Also, it's ethical for us to actually have this. So this is not a debate. Well, it has to make financial sense. Okay, well, at least I tried. At least I have minutes from this meeting. If our licenses are revoked, then you know you're the problem. Now I'm calling my friend. Hi, friend. I want to get out of here. Like, I need to be in a technical environment. Like, these finance people are always talking about numbers. They stress me out. I'm so bored here. I wanted this gentleman to hear my side of the story. I wanted him to understand me and actually agree with what I was saying. But it seemed I'm speaking in other tongues and he's speaking in a whole different language. It turns out each one of us has a communication language. I'm what we call an initiator. Initiators are said to be enthusiastic, they see the big picture, and they don't care about the small details. The second type of communicator is a supportive communicator. This person wants to feel like they matter. You involve them. They want to feel like they matter, like their opinion is important. The third type of a communicator is the direct one. This one wants to know what it is that you want, when and how we can get there. Straightforward to the point. And then the last type of a communicator is the analytical communicator. The analytical communicator cares for the fine details, just like my finance manager. Wants to see the spreadsheet, wants to know what the return on investment is, wants you to do the cost-benefit analysis. It turns out, if I really wanted to bridge the gap between I and the analytical communicator, I needed to speak his level. I needed to come to his level, come with a spreadsheet, come with a few quotations, and then drive my point home so he could get it as well. And also, maybe he had something I could learn. Maybe he was saying something important. Maybe that branch is not profitable. Maybe we don't have to sell vaccines in that branch. Or maybe we could find an alternative. Maybe we could actually do what we call a mobile service, where maybe once a week we sell vaccine because we can't afford to have backup in that branch. So for us to communicate clearly with others, we have to be self-aware. You have to know what kind of communicator you are, who you're going to talk to, and what kind of a communicator they are, and meet them at their level. Therefore, communication is not just the volume. It doesn't matter how loud you are. What's important is the message, and you have to know how to drive the message home. As we go home tonight, we might find ourselves having communication barriers with our spouses, our kids. Be aware that it all comes to communication style, and we have to meet each other at each other's level. Thank you.
Thank you, Asalepele, for your speech. We'll be moving on to our third speaker for this evening, who is Toastmaster Tapiwa. Toastmaster Tapiwa's speech will be evaluated by our visiting Toastmaster, Julie Davis. Julie Davis, the floor is yours.
Good evening, fellow Toastmasters in Gaborone and from wherever you are joining this online meeting. I have got the best job of the night. Yes, I have. Because tonight I am going to evaluate Tapiwa for the second time. This young lady is doing the Path Presentation Mastery. Level 1, Project 4. It's evaluation and feedback. How lucky am I? I evaluated her first speech in this level. And I pointed out all the things that she did really well. But the task here is to look at the things which perhaps could have been done a little bit better or a little bit differently. There were some fantastic things that she did in the first speech. Excellent, couldn't be improved upon. But tonight it's an opportunity for her to reinvent herself, to leverage herself slightly higher. She's doing the same speech again. It's called The Power of Positive Pressure, and it's 5 to 7 minutes long. But let me tell you something. I know all the good things she's going to do in this speech, and I'm very, very confident about that. But I've written down here the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 things which we looked at in the last speech. And I'm going to see whether she's worked on them, whether she's going to leverage herself, and it's going to go up to the next level, and she's going to impress us even more. Back to you, Madam Toastmaster, to introduce the esteemed lady tonight, Tapiwa, with her speech. Yay!
Thank you, Toastmaster Julie Davis. Ladies and gentlemen, help me welcome to the virtual stage Tapiwa Motweni. The power of positive pressure. The power of positive pressure, Tapiwa Motweni.
Thank you, Toastmaster of the evening. Fellow Toastmasters and guests, I'm thrilled to share with you today the power of positive pressure. What if I told you that not all stress is bad? Some stress can actually improve, make your performance organize better, and imagine it can make you feel more fulfilled. This evening, I'm introducing a hidden treasure called eustress. ESPRESS. Eustress. It's also known as good stress or positive stress. You're probably wondering, what is eustress? How can you define eustress to somebody? Eustress is the form of positive stress that helps one, that motivates. It's short-termed. Bear in mind, there's a researcher called Ansley Slay, the father of stress research, who also mentioned that in contrast to eustress, there is the well-known de-stress. We are all familiar with de-stress. The negative energy, the negative pressure, which can cause illness, chronic depression. But today, I'm here just to introduce to you that in the midst of that pressure, that feelingness of what is happening with my body, why can't I concentrate? What's happening with me? Remember that God has plans for us. In Jeremiah 29:11, it says, "For I know the plans I have for you, plans to prosper you, not to harm you, to give you hope and a future." So let the pressure that happens upon our life make us remember that verse, to keep pushing and know that there is positive pressure. What are the examples of eustress? The first day at a new job, public speaking, stage performance. And for me, just last week, I had 3 exams for my master's in project management. Imagine 3 hours exam in 3 days. Just 180 minutes for one exam. For what I've been taught in a semester of 3 months. But well, I geared up. I stayed motivated, knowing that with this positive stress, positive pressure for preparation for exams, indeed, I improved my performance and passed with flying colors. I leveraged on the positive pressure. One may also want to know, how can you improve positive pressure to work for you? Meditate each and every day. 2, turn all this anxiety, the fear, and the nerves into excitement, knowing that indeed there is benefit of winning, benefit of improving performance at the end of this short-lived pressure that you'll be going through. One also to encourage us to remember on the verse of Jeremiah 29:11 and leverage on it as well, that indeed there is power in positive pressure. Ladies and gentlemen, let us not stay comfortable in our daily duties. Let that power of positive pressure reinvent yourself, help you to become the better version of who I am, of who you are, of who we are, and make the world a better place, purposeful. In conclusion, I reiterate, not all stress is harmful. Not all stress is bad. Focus and learn that there's positive pressure that helps us to be the best version of ourselves and live a purposeful and inspiring life to others. Welcome you stress, ladies and gentlemen. Harness your stress and let it work for you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Toastmaster Tapiwa, and well done to all our prepared speakers for this evening. Isabel, I want to believe that you noticed that all our speakers were embarking on different projects. We had one speaker who was doing an icebreaker, which had its own objectives. We had another speaker, Asapel, who was doing her project 3, which is understanding your communication style. We just had Tapiwa, who was doing evaluation and feedback speech, which means she gave a first speech, received feedback, and now she was supposed to get feedback. Apply the feedback she got from the first speech. That truly shows us that all the projects that we do in Toastmasters are intentional in terms of building our communication, our public speaking, and leadership skills. I am now excited to introduce our guest speaker. Remember, I had said we have an interesting part in our program today. It's a Q&A session. So as our guest speaker will be going on, prepare those questions. Later, you'll be awarded a moment to ask him any question. Just to give you a snippet of who this guest speaker is. His name is Tshediso Moleke. Tshediso Moleke is a passionate communicator. He is also a division speaking champion. So we have a champion in our midst. He's been part of a proud top 3 finalist in District 74 esteemed public speaking contest. Not only is Tshediso a passionate communicator, he is rooted in the insurance industry. He thrives in technical insight with the art of impactful communication. So I believe Tshediso is ready to impact us with his speech tonight, titled Expect the Unexpected. Wow, expect the unexpected. Ladies and gentlemen, please help me welcome to the virtual stage Tshediso Moleke. Expect the unexpected, Tshediso Moleke.
Murphy's Law simply states that anything and everything that can go wrong will go wrong, and at the worst possible moment. Please raise up your hand if you've ever had something or anything go wrong and at the worst possible moment. KPMG Toastmasters. There was a point in time when I was the president, the vice president of membership, the vice president of public relations, all at the same time. Now one might ask themselves, how does this come about? I'll tell you. One word, COVID, baby. When COVID hit, everything went downhill. The membership plummeted. The attendance plummeted. We get a call from our then president, and he says to us, emergency meeting. We get there, we're thinking we're going to discuss strategies on how to turn the club's fortunes around. And what does he do? He drops a bombshell. He says to us, guys, I'm stepping down as president. Effective immediately. Talk about bad timing. Now, mind you, I'm the vice president. I have no choice but to step into his shoes and become the president of a dying club. I looked at the numbers, they did not add up whatsoever. Half of the exco was gone already. The club was in serious danger of shutting down. Now, from KPMG to a more lighter and positive note, I recently bought myself a new set of wheels. Now, that's cause for celebration, right? But there's only one tiny problem with regards to that. When it comes to driving, I'm not 100%. I'm one of those guys. Busy intersection, row 10 screen. It's time for me to go. What do? I stole the car. I have people screaming and shouting and others hooting at me. I'll be sitting in the car thinking to myself, but why does this always happen at the worst possible moment? But it gets worse than that. The other day, I get home, park the car on the street. But something tells me, no, Mansiriso, why don't you move the car and park it on the pavement? Like, yeah, that's a good idea. I put the car in reverse. What have I done? I had crashed into somebody else's car just 1 week after having purchased the car. But it gets even worse than that. 1 week after that incident, I completely bent out the clutch. Balancing a car is a real struggle. Ask me, I know. But that's not a major issue. Car is still failing you. I get it to the dealership. They do an assessment, come back to me. They're like, Mr. Maleke, we have bad news. We have determined that the cause of loss to your car is wear and tear. Unfortunately, this is an exclusion from your policy, and unfortunately, you are going to have to be liable to pay for the cost to repair your car. I asked them, how much? Hey, the amount that they gave me made my knees weak. I couldn't believe it. So much bad luck. What do you do when the messenger of misery pays you a visit? Do you go around complaining to anybody and everybody who will give you an ear? Side note, according to Les Brown, 80% of the people you complain to don't care, and the other 20% gladdies you. Or do you remain stoic and understand that this too shall pass? Now back to KPMG Toastmasters. Luckily for us, we managed to turn the corner. With hard work and determination, we managed to get the club to select distinguished status, meaning that we met and surpassed all of the club's goals. Now, it's good times. Good times, right? No one can go to the club. I inform you that I have perfected the art of driving, but unfortunately, I have not. What I have done though, gotten myself an L sign, slapped it at the back of my car, so that when I pull the stunt, people understand that shame, man. This guy is just a mere learner driver. The road to your goals, your dreams, your aspirations will always be paved with obstacles, hurdles, and of course, an occasional visit from Murphy. I implore you, when Murphy pays you a visit, and he will, welcome him with open arms, knowing that on the other side of his visit lies strength, resilience, and an awareness to always, and I mean always, expect the unexpected. Thank you. Back to you, Madam Toastmaster.
Woo-woo.
Now we know, and now we can see why he was a finalist. Thank you, Tidisa, for gracing us with your presence. Thank you for that amazing speech. I'll be now inviting questions from my audience. I believe you are ready to answer, and I believe they can ask any question, just as long as it's in the boundary of what you do in Toastmasters.
Okay, no problem. Let's do it. Let's do it.
Questions from the audience?
There's a hand from Julie.
Okay, Julie, the floor is yours.
Thank you for your masterful presentation. We have a little issue in the area that I live in, where we had our club, and then we had a neighboring club. Our club struggled so much. We fought to keep it open. We fought to keep it going. Then we had to close it down. We joined with the neighboring club. Excuse me. We fought. We are fighting to keep it going. We are fighting to keep it going. Then what did I hear on the grapevine of Toastmasters? That in the area where our previous club closed down, they were opening a new club. And we weren't even invited to join the opening of the new club. So my question is, why isn't Toastmasters supporting the clubs that are already running instead of having new clubs springing up all over the show? And I believe this isn't only in our area. I was told that this was also happening in Joburg and other areas. Why aren't we supporting the clubs that are already running? Why are we putting emphasis on opening new clubs? Any ideas?
Thank you for the question, Julie. I think that resources should be well spent and allocated towards making sure that the clubs that exist receive the support, they receive the attention that they need in order for them to grow and prosper. Then once they've achieved that, let's say they get to president distinguished or select distinguished, and we can see that they are well run and they don't need any assistance, then we can come back now and look at building new clubs and starting new clubs from scratch. I know that it's not an easy process to start a club, but if there are willing members, if there's leadership that's in place, and we have people who are strong who can start this thing and finish it, we can have more clubs and Toastmasters can grow as a brand, and then we can have people who were not even aware that Toastmasters exist. There are people out there who who don't even know that Toastmasters exist. But through there being new clubs being built, they will be more aware, and then they can attend and then help this brand to grow. So yeah, that's my 2 cents on that. That's what I think.
Thank you.
No,
I
it's a
have a
pleasure. It's a
question.
pleasure. Yes.
How long did it take you to prepare your speech?
Oof. So when you see me taking up the stage on district, and you see me just presenting a 7-minute speech, you don't really, get the full idea of how much time and effort was put behind it being the way it is, it being worthy of being number 3. There was a lot of time and effort. I went to multiple clubs, did my speech, different audiences in Soweto, Midrand, I did Sentin, I did online. So if I had to put a time value, I'd say about maybe 2 to 3 months for you to see that finished product. So there was a lot of input that I received from different people. I even went as far to become a test speaker for contests. That's when I received the evaluation, improve this, and then I implemented that. And then the speech improved to where it is right now. So it was a lot of time. In short, yes.
Thank you, Sidiso. Earlier, I wanted to say something. I realized that I was unmuted. I just wanted to point out that Sidiso is just here, just as a member, like we are members. He's not here in any capacity of a district leader or club leader. So he's just here as a member, just like a lot of us here are members. Thank you. I can see there is a hand there, Ubageng. Ubageng, you can share your question.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Good evening.
Hi, Ubageng. How are you, man?
I'm good, my brother and everyone. I'm still trying to sort my camera out. Just a second, I think, so that I'm visible on video. Just a second, yes.
Okay, while we're waiting for Bagen to sort out his camera, we can have Ritsidisite. Ritsidisite, you can share your question.
My namesake.
Yes,
past
your
tense,
namesake.
Past tense of my name.
Okay.
Good evening, fellow Toastmasters. Well done, Sidi. So I think I've seen you presenting that speech in Soweto Positives. You have really improved. My question is, as you say, when COVID hit, what really made you, or how did you manage to stay when everybody quitting, but you still stand and took all those positions, and today your club is still standing?
To be honest, I would put it down to the support that I received at that time. At times of difficulty, you look to others in support, and I was not alone. I'm not sure if you guys know of this lady by the name of Barbara. She always visits clubs, she always does speeches. Barbara was always there to help. And what kept me going is that support that I received when I spoke to Toastmasters members who had been there for a long time. They gave me advice and told me, Siriso, man, keep going, keep pushing. Even when we had times whereby we had a meeting and we would be like 4 people, 5 people, but still we went on and we persevered, and things slowly but surely started to pick up. Attending other people's meeting, like these meetings, you attend other people's meeting and you invite people to come, and people will come and support you, and slowly but surely started to pick up. And yeah, I think just having that mindset to say, I started this thing and I committed for me to be a president or a vice president for a year or for my term, and I will not stop until I finish my term and this club comes to a good standing. So that's what kept me going, the support that I received, and having that mindset to say, I can't quit. I can't quit. I mean, KPMG Toastmasters has been there for about 20 years or something. Now it must stop when I'm the president. Can't be. Can't be. So yes, that's what kept me going. Thank you.
Thank you, Tsidiso. I will just allow one last question from Obageng. I believe he managed to log back in. Obageng, are you ready to go?
Yes, thank you so much. I think I will not try to switch on the camera again. I don't want to be disconnected a few times. Thank you
Yes,
for
you
the
can just
opportunity. Yes, thank you for the opportunity, Earl. And for me, Mr. Tsidiso, I just the first day I would like to congratulate you and tell you that you are very inspirational. I'm just watching you speak now, and I'm like, I have this in me, but for some reason, when the moments that I need this confidence to come, it disappears. Like you said, everything that can go wrong will go wrong at the most. Yes, I lose it at some point, and I believe this club is the right place for me. With people like you, coming in and guiding us through, me specifically, I want to reach that level. That is my hope, because I really need it, man. My job needs me to present to the executives every now and then, and sometimes I do it well. Sometimes I just lose my voice. At times that I feel today is my day, then all of a sudden I'm shivering, and I'm gonna start getting my confidence after 5 minutes, and by that time people have started losing confidence in what I'm trying to tell them. You understand? So for me, it's just a request to say, keep doing what you're doing. We are watching, we are learning from you, and guide us, guys, and we will appreciate it.
No, thank you, Obaking. And I just want to add on to what you're saying. If you look at me now, you are seeing, I'm not seeing a finished product, but you are seeing somebody who has come a long way to get to where I am. If I had to take a video of the first meeting I ever attended at KPMG Toastmasters, when I wasn't even a part of the Toastmasters, and I was asked to just stand up and just state why am I here? What is the purpose of me being here? I struggle to even utter just a simple sentence to say, okay, my name is Tidi. So I struggled with that. But with time, attending meetings, making sure you take up, even when you mess up, it's fine. This is a safe space for learning. Keep going. The next meeting, raise up your hand, go to other clubs, take up roles, speak, keep improving. You'll see with time, you're going to get better and better. The nerves won't go away, but at least you know how to control them. Then you'll improve and you'll get better with time. Thank you.
Thank you, Tsidiso, and thank you for everyone who participated, who asked Tsidiso those questions. I believe we will have him back one time. Then we'll have more time to ask the questions, and he'll also have more time to entertain our questions. And just what Obageng is saying, I remember When I joined Toastmasters, I used to think that confidence is got by just sitting in a meeting, listening and enjoying amazing speeches. But like Sidiso is saying, I got to learn that confidence is actually built by taking part, by participating, by putting yourself out there, trying that timer role, trying that Toastmaster of the Day role, trying the speaking, the evaluation, and that's how you eventually start building the confidence muscle. That's why in Toastmasters, we believe that you learn by experimenting. Once again, thank you very much. We have come to the end of our prepared speaking segment. We'll be now moving on to another part, which is voting the best prepared speaker. Madam Zoom Master, are we ready with the voting poll?
Yes, I'll be launching it now. So you should see something popping up on your screen. We had 3 speakers, Buikutso, Asala Billy, and Tapiwa. So that will be on your screen. Then I guess, Madam Toastmaster of the Day, you can move on by asking the timer to give the report.
Yes. While we are voting for our best speaker, I'll be inviting to the virtual stage our timer to give us the timer keeper's report. Toastmaster Kitso, the floor is yours.
Thank you so much, our MC. We had 3 prepared speeches, if I exclude Sidiso's speech, but I'll also touch on him. Bikuta was supposed to take between 4 to 6 minutes. He did 6 minutes, 48 seconds. Asalepele was supposed to take 5 to 7 minutes. She did 7 minutes, 12 seconds. And Taipiwa also was supposed to do 5 to 7 minutes speech. She was within the range, which is 6 minutes, 43 seconds. And our distinguished guest, Sidiso, also he was supposed to do 5 to 7 minutes speech. He was also within the range, which was 6 minutes, 48 seconds. For the question and answers, we were too relaxed and very comfortable enjoying the platform. We were supposed to take 5 to 7 minutes, is it? Let me confirm myself. Yes, we were supposed to take 5 to 7 minutes also. But we did 13 minutes, 14 seconds, which really needs to improve. Thank you so much. So far, that's how. It's not yet over. We will also have time records for our evaluators. Thank you.
Thank you very much, timekeeper Toastmaster Kitso. I believe next time we will definitely improve and work on our timer. I'll be inviting to the virtual stage our table topics master, Tato Komani, to facilitate the table topics session. Toastmaster Tato, take us through the table topics.
Yes, thank you very much, Madam Toastmaster. This is the time in our meeting where we get to speak out loud about topics we have never prepared for. It's like a fun game where anything can happen. First, it helped us to practice speaking without any preparation. That's how we build our confidence. Listening is important too. While we wait for your turn, when we hear others share their funny stories or weird thoughts, that definitely helps sharpen our minds. So when it's your turn to speak in table topics, remember, you are having fun, creating stories and connecting with others. So today, my questions will be based following today's theme, the art of reinvention. Reinvention is a concept that allows individuals to adapt, to evolve, or thrive in a fast-changing environment. So it's all about growth. So I'll go straight into it. Any volunteers for tonight's question? I have 10 questions. So the volunteers, mostly I'll be looking for those who haven't taken on any roles today. Let's leverage on this moment to continue our public speaking journey. You have seen how our guest speaker was doing his speech. You can do it. You can start with 1 minute table topic question. So I have a number of questions here about tonight's theme. You can just volunteer. Any volunteer? I'm trying to. Oh, okay, great. Julie, thanks a lot for volunteering. I have 10 questions. You can just choose between 1 to 10.
7.
7. Great. Here is the question. We have 1 to 2 minutes. How does your surrounding environment play a role in your capacity for reinvention? How does your surrounding environment play a role in your capacity for reinvention?
Thank you, Mr. Topics Master, for this most pertinent question. How do my surroundings here help me to survive life and the challenges that I'm faced with? I regret to inform you that I'm going through an extremely difficult period in my life because of concerns and worries about my family. But I feel incapable. As a mother, I've always been able to sort out what's happening with my kids. As a daughter, I've been able to help my mother to solve problems. And this past week, I just lost it. There's just nothing else I can do. I've just got to let things work out, and I've got to submit to what's happening in my family. And I was shattered. I am shattered. See my eyes. I am shattered. Came home. I stepped into my flat. My flat isn't fancy. I'm not rich. I actually at the moment feel extremely poor. I feel poor because my life hasn't got a richness to it. But I've got plants and mirrors. My bed is comfortable. I've got coffee in the kitchen. I've got wine here. Got some wine to drink. Got a comfortable couch. I've got a nice view. And I came home and I hid in my home. And my home is my sanctuary. I can't solve the problems. But my environment in which I live, as small and simple as it is going to give me a strength which hopefully I can invigorate my family to survive the crisis which we face at the moment, and then we can reinvent ourselves to be in a better place. And I hope that you too have a place and a surroundings where you too can recreate a negative situation. So I share that hope for you too, the one that I'm struggling with, that we'll all survive. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to answer this question. Back to you, Mr. Topics Master.
Wow, wow, wow. I'm touched, Julie. Thanks a lot for being vulnerable and sharing with us your story. At least you have the surrounding to comfort you. Thank you very much for sharing your story. It's inspiring, and I believe the rest of us here are inspired. Thank you very much. Moving along, any volunteer? I think I will get 2 more because of time. I'm looking at
We
time.
have a guest, Norma.
Oh, great. Norma.
Hello, everyone.
Hi, Norma. Welcome.
Thank you.
Yes, I have a list of questions. 7 is already taken. Between 1 and 10, you can just choose any question.
Okay, I'll take question number 4.
Question number 4. Okay, here is the question. In your opinion, how crucial is learning in the journey of personal reinvention? Provide an example of acquiring new knowledge that has changed you. In your opinion, how crucial is learning in the journey of personal reinvention? Provide an example of how acquiring a new knowledge has changed you. So just provide an example of that.
Okay, thank you very much for the opportunity to speak on a very interesting topic, reinvention. In my opinion, reinvention cannot happen without learning. Reinvention is new learning. Reinvention is being able to take what we've learned in the past and merge it with what we need to learn in the future in order for us to create the new person that we want to become. An example of this is in my career. I started off as an A student and was very fortunate enough to get a job as soon as I graduated. And working from 9 to 5 with a steady, comfortable salary was exciting and was great. But after 10 years in the same industry, I felt that I was stagnant and there had been no growth in my life. And I knew it was time for reinvention. Reinvention from being an employee to becoming an entrepreneur, self-employed, and eventually an employer of others. Now you can imagine all the lessons I had learned in this stable working environment. Get to work early at 9 o'clock, knock off when the clock says it's time to knock off. And all these learnings were great. However, I could not take them into this new world of entrepreneurship. And I had to be open to learning that 9 to 5 was not the ideal. Some days I would work up until midnight to keep the business running. At times I had to have to be at the office at 8 o'clock. And that was also a lesson that I had to learn. I had to reinvent myself to understand that sometimes I would not have any income or salary because I had chosen this new, interesting path of entrepreneurship. So for me, being open to learning and understanding that what I had learned before was not serving me as I needed to move forward to learn new things in the new career I had taken. Therefore, in my opinion, I believe that learning and reinvention cannot be separated. And so I believe that learning is 100% needed for anyone to reinvent themselves. Thank you.
Wow. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Norma. You said it all. Reinvention goes with learning from an employee to entrepreneurship. Wow. I'm inspired tonight. in terms of the way the tabletop discussion had been answered. So thanks a lot for sharing with us. Another volunteer? Another volunteer?
Bonolo has her hand up, Tato. Bonolo.
Okay, great. I don't know why I'm not seeing it on my side. Okay, Bonolo, you can just come to the virtual stage. Questions 4 and 7 already taken. You can choose any between 1 and 10.
1 is okay.
1 is okay. All right, great. Can you share a moment when you realized it was necessary to change something about yourself? Can you share a moment when you realized it was necessary to change something about yourself?
Thank you, Table Topics Master. A moment when I realized that there was a need for me to change something about myself. This is a specific moment when there was an opening at work for a position, and I had applied. I did not make it. And our CFO and the finance manager called me to the office to tell me that I did not make it. And on top of the fact that I did not make it, they gave me that personal feedback. They were not there on the interview panel, but they just gave me the feedback that they thought made me not to get that job position during the interview. They told me that I was not assertive. That's what they have picked about me in the office. They told me that I I am not intentional in how I show up, and it was for them, it was not a surprise that I did not get that role. That feedback was honest, but it hit me so hard. It hit me so hard that I thought I need to do something about this. And that's when I decided to just embark on an intentional decision to reinvent myself and how I show up. From that day on, even Toastmasters, I joined Toastmasters as a result of that meeting and that feedback. I embarked on so many other ways to develop myself because of that specific meeting where I was given that feedback. So, yeah, that day was very, very transforming, life transforming for me. And yeah, that's it. That's all I can share. Thank you so much, Table Topics Master.
Thank you very much, Norma. Norma showed up. There was a disappointment, but that did not hold her. Thank you very much, Norma, for sharing your story. I believe it's an inspiration to the rest of us here. I wish I can continue and continue and continue, but I'm looking at time. Let me the first to be considerate of time and give it back to you, Madam Toastmaster, to continue with the rest of the program. Unless you want to allow me to continue, but I'm looking at the time that we are almost behind time. So thanks a lot. Back to you, Madam Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you, Tato, for trying your luck, but unfortunately, in the interest of time, we need to move on to the next segment of our program, which I'm also going to request Toastmaster Matsidiso to be mindful of the time. Toastmaster Matsidiso, the virtual floor is yours. You can facilitate the Hackmaster section.
Okay, thank you, Toastmaster of the day. I see we have 28 people on the call now. So I will be starting the Hackmaster session. I believe we've all been listening attentively to the speakers. So I will start with the first presenter, Boikutso. I hope we can all unmute ourselves so that we answer the questions quickly. Where was Boikutso born? Anyone?
Kanye.
Kanye, okay. And where did he grow up?
Johnny.
Okay, what's the most, what problem did he struggle with for the longest time?
Anxiety.
Okay. What makes sense to him? What part of his life makes perfect sense to him?
Church.
Yes. And what is his goal? What is his personal goal? To leverage on this,
off.
yes, to deal with anxiety and speak with structure and intention. Yes. What is Asalepele? What was Asalepele's theme? The title of Asalepele's speech?
No, you
No,
don't do
I
it that way.
No, but
Okay.
this way.
No, I want it that way.
Yes.
Okay. Yes. Where does she work?
It's
one of Epson
Agri-vet.
Institute.
Agri shop.
Agri company.
Agri-shop.
Yes. Yes. What did they need to procure?
Generators, two generators.
Generators, yes. And who was she having a conversation with?
The finance manager.
Okay. She
Finance
mentioned,
manager.
oh, yes. She mentioned that there are 4 types of communicators. What are those?
Analytic communicator.
Communicate.
Inspirational.
Analytical, supportive, initiator,
And direct.
yes, and direct. Yes. And what type of communicator is Asalepele?
Initiating.
Yeah,
And,
initiator.
and the finance director?
Analytical.
Yes. Good going. We learned a new word from Tapiwa, which relates to good stress or positive stress. What's the word?
Eustress.
Okay. And what did she say distress is?
Negative pressure.
Unending.
Yes. She mentioned a scripture that we should remember when we are going through distress.
Jeremiah
Okay,
3 verse 29.
yeah, I know the purpose I have for you. What?
Yes, Jeremiah 29:11. Okay. What did she say we must do for positive pressure to work for us?
We turn them into opportunities.
Yes. Meditate each day.
Follow your
And
purpose.
turn, yes, and turn anxiety, fear into excitement. Okay. From our guest speaker, Mr. Tsidi Somoleke, what roles did he undertook in Toastmasters?
President,
EPE.
All of them.
Yes, all of them. And how did he become president?
The other one quit.
With immediate
COVID.
effect.
President stepped down.
Okay. Yes. What kept him going?
Support from the other people.
Yes. Yes. Okay. That's it from me. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for taking part. Over
Thank
to you,
you.
Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you, Toastmaster Matsidi. So I'm interested in reading that verse. Someone said, know your purpose, what? So if they can just share with us where we can find that particular one, know your purpose, what? They would really have done a very good job. Otherwise, thank you to everyone who participated. It was a good challenge for all of us. With that said, ladies and gentlemen, my role or my duty for tonight is done as Toastmaster of the Day. I'll be now handing over to our General Evaluator, Leah Musunga, who will take us through the General Evaluation section and lead us to the closure of the meeting. Thank you for being an amazing audience. Over to you, Toastmaster Leah.
Thank you so much, Madam Toastmaster of the Day. And as stated, this is the time when we get feedback. And our Toastmaster of the Day had said earlier, in Toastmasters, we always say, if feedback is the breakfast of champions. So this is the time where our evaluators are going to give the feedback to our 3 prepared speakers that we had today. So our first evaluator, Palesa, I'm not too sure if she's on the call. I know she said she's been having power issues. Okay, I don't see her on the call. So hopefully she will share the evaluation for our first speaker, Boikuto, who was giving his icebreaker speech. Paleta was saying she didn't have power where she is. And yeah, so I think maybe she might have fallen off the call. So I'll go straight into our second evaluator of the speakers today. So that would be Hasina, who was evaluating our second speaker. So Hasina, if you could please come and give us the evaluation for the second speaker.
Thank you, Madam Evaluator. So my evaluation is for Toastmaster Asalapile Banda. I would give my evaluation on the format of CRC, commendation, recommendation, and commendation. So Toastmaster Asalapile, your speech was a compelling blend of storytelling and self-awareness. You began with a relatable experience at your workplace, which immediately drew us in. And by presenting your communication challenges first, then revealing your own style, initiative, and contrasting it with your manager's analytical style, you created a clear and engaging narrative speech. Then you introduced the remaining 2 style, direct and supportive, which was brief but effective, and you tied them neatly into your message. Your delivery was calm, confident, and well-paced. It reflects your assertive communication style. Now, a small suggestion to enhance your already strong content. Your story highlighted a gap in communication. I would have loved to see that how you leveraged your experience to reinvent your communication style. Were you able to approach him again by modifying your communication style or modifying your message or presenting him data, or did you follow up differently? Sharing that next step would not only align perfectly with the theme of today, the art of reinvention, it would have also give the audience a valuable lesson on adapting communication style to be more effective for our real life scenarios. We all face these problems where we fail to communicate, we fail to get what we want to achieve. So I conclude that I truly commend the structure of your speech, starting with a real life example and then layering in insights. It kept us engaged and it helped us reflect our own styles. With just a bit more reflection on the outcome and growth, your message would have become more impactful. So thank you once again for an informative and self-aware speech. Thank you. Back to you, Madam Evaluator.
Thank you so much for that, Hasina. Definitely detailed evaluation that you have given Asalapili. I'm sure she will take into account all the aspects that you have shared. I'll now move on to our evaluator who was evaluating our third speaker, Tapiwa, Julie, to please give us the evaluation for Tapiwa's speech.
Thank you. Tapiwe. Fellow Toastmasters. And most importantly, fellow Toastmasters to be. This is why you join Toastmasters. It is proven tonight, not because of the outstanding guest speaker that we had or the proficiency in the way that the meeting was run, but here we had a young lady who presented a speech which I evaluated previously. She recycled it, upgraded it, she reinvented it, she leveraged up on her previous performance, and she hit home. And if you don't know whether to pay your fees to Toastmasters, or if you don't know whether to join Toastmasters, if it's valuable, Tafi Pi'uwe has proven it to you tonight, because she nailed it. She nailed it. The task was to present a speech, have it evaluated, and improve on the points which were suggested to her. So the way I'm going to do my evaluation is I've got the points which I looked at last time, and I'm going to comment on them. Her introduction. She made it more powerful and more impactful, and she caught us straight away. She did forget to do the honorifics, but never mind. The introduction just activated us. The last time she started slowly and got into it. This time she was on fire from the beginning. Secondly, she spoke with a smile. She engaged us with her face. She drew herself into the camera and we were caught. We saw more of her personality, of what she was sharing with us, being genuine and intimate and connecting. Her voice. Oh, do you remember your voice the last time? It sort of went like this. Did you see how she picked up this time? There was a rise and a fall, and fast and slow in the way that she spoke to us. And we were captivated. We were brought in. She wasn't just speaking, boom, 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 boom. She drew us in with a much greater depth of vocal variety. Well done. Her eye contact. In the last speech, she was just like kind of like talking like a robot like this. And this time she leaned into the camera. She went forwards. She moved backwards. She looked straight at us. Are you listening to me? Are you hearing what I'm saying? She used her gestures. The last time she was kind of like caught like this. She had her hands like this. But she became so expressive in her gestures. One of the phrases was, you need to harness your stress. And can you see the way that she caught that stress and she brought it in and she showed us how we must use the stress? Outstanding. Progress is what we're here for. Yes, we have masters, but progress is what we are here for. To end on what was excellent, yes, the content was excellent again. And what I loved the most was the way that she used the same phrase 3 times. Positive. I can't remember what it was, but she said, this is positive, that's positive, and this is so positive. I don't know what it was that was positive, but I felt positive when I listened. There was something else that she said, what's happening with this? What's happening? And what's happening? And she built up to a crescendo. There was another one. Of who? Of who? Of who? My friends and Tapiwi, join Toastmasters. This is how you grow. I am honored to see your progress. and you have my respects. And I'm so delighted to have seen how you've grown. Warms the heart. Join Toastmasters, everyone. This lady's just proved it to us. Back to you, Madam General Evaluator.
Thank you so much, Julie, for that detailed evaluation. And yes, it was great that you had evaluated her first speech. You can easily now pick up where she improved. And that's the whole reason why we're here, to receive feedback and apply that to our next speeches so that we can get better and better as we are working on our public speaking skills. At this point, I'd like to invite Kgalalelo to please come to the virtual stage and give us the R and R counter report. How are we with our filler words tonight?
Thank you very much, General Evaluator. Please pardon me, my network was acting up at the beginning of Wikuto's speech, so I didn't get to hear the first part of his speech. However, when I did join, I noted one arm, and then Asalepele Tapiwa and our guest Tsidiso had no filler words or crunch. For Asalepele, she had 2 wells, 2 so's, and 3 likes. Tapiwa repeated the word remember. For our table topics, Norma and Julie did not have. I did not note any filler or a crunch. Bonolo had 1 R, 4 arms. Lastly, she repeated the word end 4 times. Thank you very much, and back to you, Leah.
Thank you so much, Kgalalelo, for that. I know that role really requires you using your listening skills. So as our grammarian came in a bit late, I had taken on the role. So in terms of how we used the word of the day, leverage, the following people used the word of the day. Lame once, Hasina. I hope I was listening well. Lame once, Hasina once, Julia heard it twice, Tapiwa twice, and I heard it also from Tato once. And then some English phrases that I may have picked up a bit. I heard a phrase like lady of my heart, rent-free in prime real estate. Thought that was a good one. Bridge the gap. And then I think I'd written self-aware. I realized, grammarian role really requires you to listen and making notes. And I think when the speeches are so interesting, sometimes you even forget to make those notes. But well done to people who used interesting phrases. Oh yes, there was also even a quote that was mentioned. I think our hack master picked that up. So those are some of the things that one would pick up as the grammarian, the quotes, phrases, and also the use of the word of the day. And I think the word of the day was a very good one because most people were able to actually utilize it. So I'll now just get into my feedback as the general evaluator for the meeting. I think we can all agree our Toastmaster of the day did an amazing job today and bringing so much energy, liveliness to the meeting. I liked the fact that Lame, our Toastmaster of the day, you engaged our audience, inviting them to share in the chat. That was a good way of ensuring that our audience, even though this is online, that you still participate and you are part of the meeting. We initially had 4 speakers, ended up with 3 speakers, all of them presenting from different levels of Toastmasters. So at least all our guests, you got to see the different levels that you'll be pursuing when you do decide to start your own Toastmasters journey. And of course, we had our guest speaker. So this is someone who's now at a much higher level. But like he also shared with you all today, we all start somewhere and you never know where you can end up. And maybe one day that will be you representing our club, maybe, or maybe another club here in Gaborone at the district level and maybe even beyond. And that only happens and unfortunately, you have to keep on practicing and working on it. And as you heard him say, you visit clubs and you get that feedback from people to help you to improve your speech. So I'm sure that really came out today. Really glad with our hack master. She made us, she tested us to see how well we were listening. Some of the questions I thought were hard, but I could see some people were really paying attention. So well done, everyone, on listening really well and being able to engage with that. That just also helps us to ensure our speakers have spent time preparing their speeches, and us as the audience, we are just ensuring that we are paying attention and giving them our full attention. That's why we have that particular session in our meeting. So I know our club president always says, because Gaborone Toastmasters is my club, I'm biased. So I'll say also, I'm also biased. It was a great meeting today. Thank you so much to everyone who came. And I think maybe in terms of things to improve, I think maybe just slightly at the beginning, some technical issues there. But we'll just make sure that next time we don't have some technical issues at the beginning. With that being said, I would call up my club president, but before she comes, normally this is the time. I think we only voted for our best effort speaker. So I'm just going to share that before the club president comes to give her final closing remarks. So in terms of our best effort speaker for the night, based on your voting, is none other than drumroll. It was, so it was Tapiwa. So well done, Tapiwa. You were the best effort speaker of the night. And of course, at Gaborone Toastmasters, we always want to say thank you to the people who come to help us. And we want to say thank you to Julie for being an evaluator yet again. And sorry, Kitso, for being our timer. And of course, our guest speaker, Tidiso. Thank you so much for coming and being a part of our meeting tonight. I'll now hand over to Dumelo, our club president, to share the final word.
Thank you so much, Leah. And a big thank you goes out to all the visiting Toastmasters who supported us tonight, most especially to Tsidiso Moleke, who gave that wonderful speech and showed our club members how truly this journey, how far this journey can truly take you. Could I please request that we switch on our cameras and take a picture for our YouTube thumbnail, and urge that guests stay behind before I give my announcements and closing remarks. Please switch on your camera for a photo op, please. Cameras are coming on. Leah, are you ready? You're muted, Leah.
Yes, I can see that coming on. Just waiting a few more minutes.
Yes.
Okay. If there's none there, let me take. Okay, there we go. And all right.
Yay! Another big congratulations goes to our icebreaker speaker tonight, who was Vikuto Motasele, who gave a wonderful speech for a first timer. Welcome to Gaborone Toastmasters, and we love it when people decide to embark on this journey of personal development. But before I give my closing remarks, I'd just like to give a few announcements. First, our next meeting is on the 10th of June, right here on Zoom. And we have another event called an open house. You might ask, Dumelo, what's an open house? An open house is an event we host so that the public and aspiring Toastmasters can come and find out what exactly we do at Toastmasters. It's open to the general public. We'll be having it on the 7th of June, Saturday, the 7th of June at Maruapula. So Maipisong Center, there in Maruapula School, in the Maruapula section or side of town. Please contact us. We've also shared it on LinkedIn. But 7th of June, you're free to bring a friend and just come to find what exactly do we do at Toastmasters. And we've tried to tell people on our social media, but like I'm saying, it's open to the general public. invite everyone far and wide to come and find out about the gospel that is Toastmasters. Another announcement is that we're looking for successors. So as president of Gaborone Toastmasters Club, I won't always be president, meaning my term will be coming to an end as at end of June. So in July, we'll be having a new president, and such we've made sure that nominations are out, and nominations are only open to members who are in good standing. That is, members that have their membership paid up can either nominate themselves or another Toastmaster to take up any of the 7 executive committee roles that exist in the club. That is the president, the secretary, the sergeant at arms, the vice president membership, vice president education, and vice president public relations, as well as the treasurer. So feel free to, hello? Please feel free to nominate either yourself or anyone else. With that said, as we close tonight's meeting, let's carry this truth. Reinvention is an ongoing masterpiece. And every time we speak, take on a role, or challenge ourselves in this very space, we are shaping a new version of who we are. We are not bound by yesterday. We are artists of our own futures. Thank you for showing up tonight, for daring to reinvent, and for inspiring each other along the way. Let's keep painting, keep shaping, and keep growing together. See you next time. Please end the recording. Great. Guests, please feel free to engage, give us your feedback. How was this meeting? But before any guests speak, I'd like to speak to Sidiso. Hi, Sidiso. How did you find Gaborone Toastmasters?